Welcome, everyone, to Mythstorie, a podcast about myths and history. I am one of your hosts, Bryant, and I'm not with my permanent guest, Cami. She is unavailable right now because she's been working her ass off for launching her new store. And so let's give her a break for a minute. I'm going to go into this solo today, give you a quick episode where we're going to talk about the Great Wall of China and the legend of the Flying General. So, Mythstorie, typically I would have Cami, the co-creator, on here. She would give you a story based off of our topic, right? And then I would go into some of the history. Well, today I'm going to do both. So let's get started. So I want to do something that interesting, that I knew a little bit about, wanted to learn more. I think everyone's heard of the Great Wall of China, obviously, but there's some fun things you might not know. The legend of the Flying General was one thing I definitely did not know. So here's how it goes. During the Ming Dynasty, a general named Qi Jiguang was tasked with defending the Great Wall from invaders. Qi Jiguang was a brilliant strategist and a skilled warrior. He led his troops to victory in many battles, and he earned a reputation as one of the greatest generals in Chinese history. One day, Qi Jiguang was leading his troops on a patrol along the Great Wall when they were attacked by a large group of invaders. The battle was so fierce, and Qi Jiguang's troops were heavily outnumbered. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Qi Jiguang suddenly flew into the air. He soared over the battlefield, raining down arrows on the enemy. The invaders were so stunned by Qi Jiguang's flying that they turned and fled. Qi Jiguang's victory was hailed as a miracle. Some people said that he had been possessed by a spirit, while others said that he had been blessed by the gods. Whatever the explanation, Qi Jiguang's flying victory has helped secure the Great Wall and protect China from invasion. So, Qi Jiguang, that was the Ming Dynasty period. This was 1368 to 1644 is when the Ming Dynasty was around. Qi Jiguang was born in 1528. So he was well into the Ming Dynasty. He was around and established. What's cool? So, all right, we're talking way late. American independence is about 100 years after the Ming Dynasty. Here, this is how far we are in the timeline of our world. The Great Wall, though, began construction in the 7th century BCE during the Qin Dynasty, which was 221 to 206 BC. But that's wild. This is like Homer writing his epics in ancient Greece. The ancient epics in ancient Greece. That's when the construction kind of began. Of course, China was very centralized. It's been around for a very long time, but it's one of the cradles of civilization. The river networks, societies, and ancient civilizations were able to thrive because of these rivers and things like that. But of course, just like anywhere in the world, northerners are a problem. Think the Vikings and stuff like that. So you start building a wall to keep those northerners out. The crazy thing about this wall, though, is it continued construction for an extremely long time. Now, the most extensive period of construction was during the Ming Dynasty, the one where the general Qi Jiguang was around. So it wasn't always, being continuously worked on. Different emperors picked up and put down it over time, and needs change. You have different invaders, different worries. Flooding was a huge problem at this time. Earthquakes. So sometimes you just couldn't even worry about the Great Wall of China. You had to just worry about your centralized area. And remember, China wasn't always unified China. That wasn't until very recently, over 100 years ago, where we started to see China become a centralized, maybe that's not the right word, became unified. So, but the Great Wall of China, it's still around today. It's important to note, though, it's not exactly continuous. It's a series of fortifications. So if you've seen Mulan and all that, that's very real. And you may have been to it. And because of how long it is, it definitely makes sense. It's 13,000 miles long, usually 15 to 16 feet high, 5 meters high, and 15 feet wide at the top. So absolutely huge, but it's not exactly one continuous wall. I imagine there's like natural fortifications, mountains, and things like that it uses along with its own, and just where you fill in those gaps with those mountains and things like that. So what's really cool is I thought it was interesting that over 20 million people likely were used to build it. And while it's made of earth, stone, and wood, but there are stories and rumors that you'd have people working. They didn't really have a choice. They die of exhaustion or whatever, or maybe just people nearby died. You'd throw them in just to help support, pack that soil, add more material to this Great Wall. So that's one way to build the wall. Another interesting thing too, it's not visible from space, so it can be seen with like radar imaging, like from space. You can zoom and enhance a little bit, but the naked eye won't be able to detect it at all. Unfortunately, it's totally possible that early astronauts in space who could make out certain things and features, they were familiarizing themselves, and they could have believed that they saw it. Totally understandable that could have happened, but wasn't the case. Now about Qi Jiguang. So he's extremely important. We talked a little bit about Chinese myth and legend here. Guan Yu was a really fun one. This was a general from, I think it was like 200 AD or BC. I can't remember. I think it was, or maybe an 80 AD actually. Very early, very popular leader, spiritual historical figure in China in general. And Qi Jiguang, while a thousand and some change year later from Guan Yu, still extremely important even in modern China. He was extensively written about, and he wrote books. Remember, he was around in the 1500s, the 16th century. So this isn't that far back for sources. He wrote a book called "Effective Military," or New Book on Effective Military Training Methods. Right to the point. So he wrote a book called that, a manual on modern military strategy. It's considered one of the most important works in military strategy in Chinese history. He's known for stopping pirates. Yeah, he was really well known for fortifying the coast. So he stopped pirates. He had these famous Ji Shaolan fortifications that he made along the coast. Really worked hard here in his time, so became extremely well known. He was referenced in the Ming Shi. It's the history of the Ming Dynasty. This is an official history of the Ming Dynasty compiled by the imperial court in 1739, which includes a biography of Qi Jiguang. The Wu Zhangpu is a collection of military diagrams. This was written in 1562. And then there's also the Records of Qi Jiguang, a book compiled by his own descendants in the 17th century, containing a collection of his writings and correspondence. He is still well referenced today. He's still revered today. I kind of think of it like George Washington. America, he's our only 5-star general. He's a great military leader. He's a great commander and hero to the American people. That's how Qi Jiguang was. And unfortunately, we don't have any stories about Washington flying in the sky, raining down musket balls on redcoats. But Qi Jiguang was able to do that. It makes me think of the Dynasty Warriors games by Koei Tecmo, where they do their special Musou attack and they just do all sorts of crazy stuff. This is what I imagine it would have been like for Qi Jiguang. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. We will have a normal episode with Cami soon. We've got some fun topics that we're going on. I just wanted to hit something quick, sweet, learn something new. That's the whole point of this podcast. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to hear about, let us know. Mythstorie is all one word with an IE at the end. MYTHSTORIE. At gmail.com. You can get to us. Mythstorie.net takes you to our links, our landing page. You can get all of our links. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to talk about. If you're on a podcast services, leave a review, subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment, like. Those help us out a great deal. Those metrics. The podcast has been doing great. We had a very successful episode about the Bermuda Triangle. That was a lot of fun. So we want to continue the good work as best we can. So everyone, thank you for joining us, or me, and we will see you next time. Oh.